Umar radiallahu anhu, on one occasion, when he was patrolling, he came upon a bunch of children who were crying, and there was a tent that was set up. So he came and asked, he saw the woman was cooking and kids were around, and he said that you should feed your children. And he sought permission to come close. She said, if you're coming with a good intention, you may come close. He came close. And she said, honestly, there's nothing in this water but some stones that I put in to look like I'm cooking. My children, we haven't eaten for days. If you have children, you know what this means. They haven't eaten for days, and I'm hoping that as I'm boiling, they'll just fall asleep. And he said, and she said, may Allah hold Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar Ibn Al-Khattaab radiallahu anhu accountable. He said, may Allah forgive you. Why would he be held accountable? She said, if he is Amir of the entire Ummah, he has to take care of all of us. No Twitter, no email, no text message, but he should know everything that's going on. He ran back. He told Aslam, his servant, that we need to gather this and this and different ingredients, and he put it in a bag. He said, hoist the bag on my back. Aslam said, no, meaning I'm your servant, put it on my back. And he said, no, will you carry my burden on the day of judgment on your back? And he put it on his back and he carried it there. When he arrived, he took out all the ingredients, he began to cook and cook and cook, and then he served them all food. And she said, you should be Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he said, inshallah, when you come to Medina tomorrow, you'll find me there. Like, you'll meet me in Medina. He didn't say he was Amir al-Mu'mineen. So you see, both these occasions, he didn't tell people the humility. You know, nowadays someone says something, do you know what? I'm the Imam. You can't say that. You know, people have these responses. He didn't say to anyone. Then he sat at a distance, and Aslam asked, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, shouldn't we go now? And he said, I want to sit and watch them laugh as I sat and watched them cry. And then the next morning, Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu, he said that Umar radiallahu anhu wept so much during Fajr, we couldn't understand any of his recitation during prayer. Because he was a true leader of a community. And he took everyone's problems as his own responsibility. And he worked hard to make sure that no one whatsoever was going through any suffering. On one occasion he was, and the stories go on. And this is why when they were conquering Masjid Al-Aqsa, they sent a letter saying, come and we will give you the keys, but you have to come. So Aslam said, Umar and Aslam, they left. So Aslam, he said, mount, O Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, no, we will take turns. So Aslam would ride, then he would dismount, Umar would ride. And they would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It so happened that when they entered, they saw the slave on the back of the animal. And Umar was holding the reins of the animal, walking, because it was his turn to walk, wearing a coat of 12 patches. And when he walks in, the rabbis all run to their books and they say, this is exactly what we're told what will happen. That a man of this humility would come and take the city from us. Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah radiallahu anhu had come to him at come to him at that point. And he was wearing nice clothing, and so were the other Sahaba. And they had nice clothing for Amir al-Mu'mineen. And when they said salam, he didn't even say wa alaikum salam to them. So they thought, what is wrong? And they realized, so they changed back to their own clothes. They came and said salam. He said wa alaikum salam as if he didn't even see them the first time, as if the first time they're meeting. And then he said that I'm not going to leave my way of being simple, لِهَؤُلَاءِ حَمْقَى, for these foolish people. On one occasion, some Sahaba came to Ali radiallahu anhu, and they said, oh Ali, go tell Umar that we have wealth finally, so he should eat twice a day. That was their improvement. He should eat twice a day. He will have one meal in the morning and one meal in the evening, and all the Sahaba can eat together. And he should wear nice clothing, so when people visit, they will be in awe of him. Ali radiallahu anhu said, I can't tell him this. So they went to Aisha and Hafsa radiallahu anhu. And Aisha said, okay. Hafsa said no, but she said, I'll come just to watch. And then when they came to Amir al-Mu'mineen, she began to say that my husband, he lived in poverty for his whole life. And he lived with so little that we would have no smoke coming from our house until Allah took it back, and then my father became Amir. And he had absolutely nothing. And then Allah took it back. Oh, you Amir al-Mu'mineen, we have futuhat now. Now you can actually eat twice a day. And you can wear a garment without patches. So you should do this. And Umar radiallahu anhu began to cry. Then he said, oh Hafsa, can you tell me what was the best meal that Rasulullah ever ate with you? So she said, one day I found some hardened butter and some old bread that was very hard. So I put it over a fire until it began to melt, and I dipped the hard bread in it. And he ate as if it was the greatest meal he ever had. So then he said, oh Hafsa, my daughter, what happened that one day when you folded over the mat of the Prophet ﷺ? She said he would sleep and his mat was too thin, so I wanted to give him comfort. I folded it over once more. And when he slept that night, he slept with the Tahajjud. Then he came and he asked me, why did you do this? She said, I wanted to give you comfort. He said, Mali wa dunya ya Hafsa, what do I have to do with dunya? So then he said that my two companions came before me and they walked on one path until they returned back to Allah, and I will not leave that path until I join them in the hereafter. Umar radiallahu anhu, he was so just that everyone tasted his justice. One day a man named Abu Lu'lu came to him and said that my master, he takes too much of my wages that I earn from building things. So Umar radiallahu anh told him, have patience with your master, but he went without him knowing to his master and told his master to reduce the amount that he's taking. That way the servant respects the master, and the master is also respected by the servant. And then so Abu Lu'lu thought to himself, everyone can taste from Umar's justice but me. So one day Umar said that I heard you're very good at making windmills, so make me a windmill. And he said, I will make you something that the world will never forget. So he said, by Allah, this dog has threatened me. So Sahaba said, shall we kill him? He said, no. So Umar radiallahu anhu was praying Fajr one morning, and Abu Lu'lu took a sword that had 3 edges. The main blade and the 2 extended blades would come backwards, and he dipped it in poison, and he came through the ranks at Fajr, and he stabbed Amir al-Mu'mineen radiallahu anhu in the lower back. Umar radiallahu anhu was so concerned about the ummah that all he did was he pulled Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu up. So Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu would continue the prayer, and the Muslim ummah would not miss a prayer. And then he said the dog has gotten me, and then someone threw a sheet over Abu Lu'lu and he killed himself. And for 3 days he was such a strong man that he survived this wound. So bad was this wound, when they brought him milk, it went down his throat and out the wound, and everyone knew that he was going to die. And then he told Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, can you please go ask Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha that please give me permission to be buried next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, my 2 companions. So she gave permission. She said, I was saving it for me, but he is more deserving than me. Then when Umar radiallahu anhu saw him enter and he told him the good news, Umar radiallahu anhu said that you should ask her again once I pass away. And that way, if she felt, because I was alive, she couldn't say no, now this would not bother her anymore. So when they were taking his body to carry over to be buried, he went and asked her, and she again said yes. They brought him into the home, and they buried him next to his 2 beloved companions. Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu narrates that I was standing and I felt some pressure on my shoulder. I turned around. Ali radiallahu anhu had raced in late, and he was looking over my shoulder, and he was crying out to Amir al-Mu'mineen saying, oh Umar, so many times I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, I and Abu Bakr and Umar, I and Abu Bakr and Umar, I and Abu Bakr and Umar were together. So it's only befitting that you are now with them in the hereafter. Such great men did not come because they overate or they overtalked or they overslept. Such great men no longer are the imams of our communities. Only filth now stands to lead the prayer on a daily basis. And so everyone wonders why the community and the youth are having problems. But the imams are responsible. It's the imam's fault. We don't do what we're supposed to do, right? If we were like Umar radiallahu anhu, everyone would be like Ali radiallahu anhu. But we're like me, so everyone is having a hard time.